how is it going, Trailblazers? So, the new form for one of the most popular Honkaistarrail characters just got drip marketed. And I'm already aware that a lot of you guys are planning on pulling for her in the future. So today, I'm going to talk about literally everything that we know about Robin's new form as of now. All in all, I'm going to mention basically all of the information that we currently have on her, including her element and path, playstyle, and what teammates she's rumored to synergize with. Before we begin though, let me just mention the usual disclaimer that the version of Robin's kit which I talk about in this video is based on very early information. So please take everything presented with a grain of salt. With that being said, let's begin without wasting any more of your time. The first thing that we know about Robin's new form is her element and path. According to the current information, Robin is going to be a wind element unit that follows the path of remembrance. Now, this is honestly one of the more surprising combinations that we've seen in a while because up until now, most people expected her to remain some kind of harmony support. Instead, Hoyoverse seems to be taking her in a completely different direction with a remembrance kit that revolves around a brand new mechanic. Speaking of that mechanic, the biggest part of Robin's gameplay appears to be her interaction with a memo sprite. From the information that we've received so far, Robin doesn't seem to function like a traditional DPS. Instead, she's all about assigning her memo sprite to a designated teammate. Once that teammate performs enough actions, the memo sprite will automatically launch follow-up attacks on its own. So rather than Robin herself constantly attacking enemies, she's essentially enabling another character while her companion contributes additional damage in the background. It's a pretty unique concept compared to the remembrance characters that we already have. Something else that's worth mentioning is that Robin supposedly has a rather unusual basic attack. According to another leak, her basic attack isn't just a standard single-target attack like almost every other character in the game. It's apparently a completely unique type of basic attack. At the same time though, Robin herself reportedly doesn't deal damage through most of the rest of her kit. So outside of this unique basic attack, the majority of her personal damage seems to come from her memo sprite instead. Again, these details are still very early, so don't be surprised if some of this changes once the beta actually begins. Now let's talk about what kind of role Robin is expected to fill. Current information suggests that at lower Eidolon investment, Robin is primarily designed as a support. She'll mainly provide buffs alongside some form of action advance for the teammate linked to her memo sprite. However, once you start investing into higher Eidolons, leaks suggest that her own overall damage output becomes much more significant. So while free-to-play players may mostly see her as a premium support, whales could potentially turn her into a hybrid support that also contributes respectable damage. Another interesting piece of information comes from Robin's overall design. One leaker mentioned that her kit is specifically designed this way because Evernight only buffs memo sprites. If that's true, then Robin's entire gameplay concept suddenly makes a lot more sense. Rather than summoning a memo sprite simply because she's a remembrance character, it may actually be to fully capitalize on Evernight's mechanics and receive buffs that other characters normally wouldn't be able to access. Now, probably the biggest question everyone has is who Robin is actually meant to be played with. According to the current rumors, Robin is heavily tied to Himiko's new SP form. In fact, one leak specifically mentions that Robin is basically designed for a Himiko after-sales team. While the exact mechanics behind that synergy are still unknown, it seems that the two characters are being built alongside each other. That isn't necessarily bad news if you're interested in Himiko SP, because it could mean we're looking at another premium duo similar to previous character pairings. At the same time though, the leaks also mention that existing Remembrance teams should still be able to get some value out of Robin, even if Himiko SP ends up being her best partner. Perhaps the most interesting rumor, however, is that Robin could actually replace Castorice in dedicated Remembrance teams. According to current information, Robin SP is expected to release during the first phase of version 4.5, and she's supposedly the character that takes Castor's slot in those teams. Now, before anyone starts panicking, it's important to remember that this doesn't necessarily mean Castorice becomes a bad character. Team compositions constantly evolve as new units release, and Robin may simply provide stronger synergy with newer remembrance mechanics. We'll have to wait until beta gameplay arrives before we know exactly how these teams perform in practice. Overall, Robin's new SP form is shaping up to be one of the more unique characters we've seen in quite some time. Even with only a handful of early leaks available, it's already clear that Hoyoverse is taking her in a very different direction compared to her original version. If the current information ends up being accurate, she could easily become one of the biggest meta-defining characters of the entire update. And even though we're still in the early stages of version 4.5 leaks, there's already plenty of reasons to be excited if you've been waiting for Robin's return. As more information comes out once the actual beta for version 4.5 goes live, we'll finally get to see exactly how all of these mechanics work together and whether these early rumors end up being accurate. So that's pretty much all of the information that we currently have related to Robin's new SP form. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to give this video a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel in order to stay up to date with all the latest HSR news and character guides. That's it for now, so I'll be seeing you guys in the next video.